future to come after me. Why?
Because you betrayed us.
My father's watch. The date is set 1 year in the future. How'd you get this?
You gave it to me.
How do you know about it?
Blue kryptonite takes away my abilities, too. We're of the same world, Kal-El.
Why are you risking your own life?
Because it's the only chance I have to defeat you before you destroy our world.
That would be changing destiny.
Whose destiny? Not Jimmy's. You and I both know that. He didn't deserve to die, Clark. He died because you and I screwed up. Because we made a mistake. Now you have to fix it.
I'm not a god. And the last time that I tried to rewrite fate, my own father died. He died right here in my arms because of me.
I've given him so much for you, Clark. This is the only thing I've ever asked from you. Please. Please do this for me. Please save Jimmy.
I can't. Winslow, how do I disarm the bomb?
I don't know who you are, but you're interrupting my game. I can't just go changing the rules for someone who isn't even playing.
This isn't a game. It's a man's life.
No, it is a game. And Toyman makes the rules now.
What you're doing is pointless. Oliver would never let those people die.
Beast move in an orderly fashion to the nearest exit.
But you already know that, don't you? You don't allow for human error. You have to control who wins. That's why you put a timer on the factory bomb. The pressure plate that Oliver's standing on is fake, isn't it? It's on a timer.
You follow my work. It's always nice to have a fan.
How long does Oliver have?
Not long enough.
Your biggest fan. And I know that the real Winslow shot would want to live and dance on Oliver's grave.
5, 4, 3, 2.
No one wins a game if you both lose.
Just when I thought you'd flown off my radar.
Where is he? I've already checked every Luthor Corps facility, the Daily Planet, and this house. I found no one. Where are you hiding him?
I'm gonna need a little bit more information. Like a name.
You know who I'm talking about. His name's Jor-El.
I'm sorry. I can see how upset you are, but I don't know who you're talking about.
You're lying. You've operators all over the world tracking aliens. You know everything.
The only alien I know is standing right in front of me.
Where's my father? I want to see him now.
I've waited so long for you to admit your true Kryptonian heritage. I always hoped you'd tell me because you trusted me. But I'll take what I can get.
Where is he? Tell me.
Zod has him. Don't worry, Clark. I had a tracking device put on Jarrell's clothes, so we could locate him.
You wanted Zod to find him, so you could find the others. You used my father's bait.
Clark, I was just trying to protect you.
Find it.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by. Today we're getting into Smallville Season 9. The clock is ticking on our series rewatch review of this. But before I do, I hope that today is the day that we earn your subscription. Only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. And I want to remind all of you how awesome and amazing you are. All of you. Whether you're subscribed, not subscribed. Today is the day I want you to remember how worthy you are of life. And I want you to give some people that you love a hug. And if you have any lingering grudges out there in the world, try to squash them. It's not cool for you or anyone to be carrying around things that weigh us down to that degree. But in these crazy times that we're facing recently and for a long time in this world, let's try to break it up a little bit. Let's talk about Smallville Season 9. Of course, we got Tom Welling as Clark and Kal-El, Allison Mack as Chloe, Justin Hartley as Oliver, a.k.a. the Green Arrow. I was going to call him the Green Goblin. Why? Brain. Intrusive Thoughts. Erica Durance as Lois, Callum Blue as Zod, Cassidy Freeman as Tess, and yeah, so that's the main cast for the season. And I'm going to mention some notable character appearances that happened throughout the season here. We do have the appearance of Metallo in episode 2. That was played by Brian Austin Green. Now, some of you may not remember his fame, but he was a cast member on a show called 90210 that was pretty successful back in the day. His relationship with Donna at the time was one of the most talked about relationships on TV outside of Dylan and Kelly and Brenda. But we're not talking about 90210. We're talking about Smallville. Come on, Bart. Come on, Bart. So, Metallo, this version of Metallo is that he was getting experimented on, and he's got this big chunk of kryptonite in his chest. The design looks really cool. I'm going to try to remember to add an image in here to show you that I personally liked how they made the character look. Toymaker was in episode 4, and he tried to take Ollie out because Oliver, the Toymaker in this particular universe, was making dangerous toys, and people were getting hurt, and Oliver, or could get hurt, and Oliver, because he was working at Queen Industry at the time, and Oliver was like, listen, man, I gotta let you go. What we're trying to strive for and what you're trying to strive for are two different things. And because he was let go, he attempted to take Oliver out. I actually thought that this version of Toymaker was menacing for sure. It's hard to make a character like Toymaker menacing, but until you think of the subtext, right? that he's making toys that will hurt people. And who mainly plays with toys, right? I don't want to kind of say anything else with that because I don't want you to mistakenly thinking I'm advocating anything. But if you're making bombs out of toys, there's only one group, mainly one group of people you're trying to hurt. You know what I mean? And of course, they saved the day. One of my favorite episodes of character appearances is because I've been a fan of these characters since I was a kid, the Wonder Twins. But there's no Bleep Meep, right? The little monkey. There's no little monkey, and they didn't do the whole Wonder Twin powers activate. They, they were inspired by the Blur to become superheroes, and they were messing up a little bit, and Clark was getting on their case, but he lightened up on them and promised that he would check in on them to help them like learn their powers and learn like who would need you more, as far as like being a hero and stuff like that, to think ahead because your actions matter. So that was pretty cool to see them. We get the JSA this season. We get Hawkman. We get Dr. Fate. We get, like Dr. Fate's helmet, we get, who is Star Spangled Girl? Maybe I'm not. I'm getting confused on what her name is. The character that has kind of like the America motif to her costume. And of course, we also get Martian Manhunter this year too. So there was a story with the JSA in which our guys had to team up with the JSA to kind of figure out what was going on with some of their former members. We learn later on in the season that Checkmate has always been kind of around trying to take out these heroes or use these heroes for their own advantage. And we'll get into Checkmate's position in this season in a moment. Zatanna makes an appearance here. This episode was kind of fun because what happened was the initial problems happened at a Comic-Con, so to speak. And there's this... Zatanna's father was working on a comic book years and years ago, and the comic book wound up becoming pretty popular. It's their in-house, so to speak, superhero. If you're Angel Warrior, is it? We've heard of Angel Warrior throughout the seasons on Smallville, but we learned that Zatanna's father worked on the book. He got stiffed on some money or something like that and cursed the book. And whoever touches the book becomes a hero that will eventually turn villain. And there's a young boy who touched it. He wound up falling in love with Chloe. Chloe didn't know that it was an underage child in the form of an adult. So in this rare instance, she was not a predator in real life. We're not going to get into that, though. I tried staying clear of her personal life. But Zatanna, Clark, Chloe, they all saved the day. Checkmate, making their first appearance officially in episode 16. We find out that Tess was a member of Checkmate all this time also through these episodes. And Pam Grier, oh my lord, Amanda Waller. Pam Grier, if you're watching this by any chance, I'm proposing marriage to you. I know you don't know me, But, man. Pam Grier did an excellent part as Amanda Waller. She kind of, brings that menace, from the years of, her being an action star, so to speak. We actually did a movie of hers that's in the Retro Blast. Foxy Friday, was it? So yeah, big Pam Grier fan. Good to see her. Checkmate, aka Suicide Squad, will try to take metahumans and make them work for them against their will. And eventually, there's a character by the name of the Red Queen that forced Amanda Waller to back off Clark and them, right? I'm gonna tell you who the Red Queen is in a few minutes. So checkmate. So the next character appearance that was good to see was Ma Kent. As we know, since the last season, she went off to Washington, D.C. She hasn't really been making much of an appearance or being heard about by conversation or anything. She makes her reappearance in episode 20. She's dating Perry White, and Perry White seems to be on the verge of on a story that is concerning the kryptonian symbols that have been appearing over the years. And of course, Martha finding this out, obviously you can understand her concern. No, she doesn't want her son getting caught and exposed as an alien, right? So she winds up fixing things to protect Clark, and she is the Red Queen. And she explains how that wound up happening, that she thought she'd use her influence and stuff as a senator to infiltrate the knowledge and stuff on who to misdirect when it comes to Clark. You know what I mean? And then episode 21, the last episode of the season, pretty much everyone we got throughout this season shows up, even from past. We have Cyborg, Black Canary, the JSA, Oliver's helping, Chloe's helping with the Watchtower. Tess even eventually helps out because all this time. All right, so we didn't even get into the story of the season, which is Zod and the Kandorians trying to get their powers and Zod eventually wanting to rule the world. We get that Zod, at first, no one's realizing Zod is a villain, the true villain. We wind up finding out that he did have a part in the destruction of Krypton. At one point, even when people started losing their trust in him throughout the season and trusting Clark more, because Clark and Zod were at odds on how the Kryptonians / Kandorians should be living amongst the world. If you want to integrate with the world, then you don't really need powers or anything like that. Basically, you didn't have powers on Krypton, so why do you need them here? You know what I mean? That's how, Clark was looking at it, because he knows how it is for his own self, trying to keep himself in check as a Kryptonian. He even says as much that it takes a great deal of control and focus to make sure that he's not, killing anyone. And if you're dealing with equating it to real life, Superman can, punch a hole right through your head. Think of A-Train running through Hugh's girlfriend in the show The Boys. So picture Clark could just do that with a punch. You know what I mean? So when you have people with powers that they already think they're better than humans, and so they're gonna start really get nuts if they have powers, in my opinion. Well, some people, right? There's some. I think that mainly the Kandorians are just trying to live a normal life. It's Zod that keeps pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. He wants to rule a planet for some reason. It's just really, yeah, that's his thing, man. That's his jam. And we really, at some point, Clark, as the Blur, stops talking to Lois because he's trying to separate her from being used against him. But Zod decides to pose as the Blur because Lois never physically seen the Blur, only on the phone when she talked to him. And Clark would use a voice modulator. So Zod is using a voice modulator. Okay? So at some point she's thinking she's helping the Blur. She's really helping Zod. And there's this MacGuffin called the Book of Ra, which basically is that if you activate that, it's going to make the Kandorians, go to another plane of existence. And so Clark was trying to activate that, knowing that he himself could go too, because it's sequenced for all Kryptonians to leave to this other realm. Right? So, what we ended up doing is that Lois winds up finding out that Zod was being lying to her, basically. At some point, she does realize Clark is the Blur, but she's keeping that to herself at the moment. She even helps him at the end without him realizing it. And what really breaks the Kandorians against Zod eventually near the end is that in episode 19 or 20, Zod winds up killing his wife, or, I mean, like that. We didn't see them get married, but she was pregnant with Zod's child, and she's trying to find a better life because she didn't want her child growing up in what was going on with Zod and everything. And Zod wound up killing her for betraying him. He didn't know she was pregnant at the time, and then he tried to blame Clark for it. And eventually, when Zod had Clark in his grasp and he was whispering to him about, "You made me kill my unborn child," everyone, because Clark ended up having to give Zod some of his blood from an injury. Zod got powers. And then what he did was he shared his blood with all the other Kandorians. And so they ended up getting powers. So they all have powers. And you're figuring, how is Clark going to get out of this? And what happens is when Zod mentions about killing his unborn child, they all hear it with the secret hearing, turn against him, letting Clark activate the Book of Ra. But at that point, Zod wound up having blue kryptonite, stabbing Clark. Clark falls off of the daily or the building, and Zod and all the other Kandorians are whisked away into the other reality. When Clark falls, Lois winds up taking out the blue kryptonite dagger in his chest. He was warned by Jor-El there's a threat coming, and he comes to, but he doesn't know that Lois helped him. And near the end, we see Pa Kent and John Snyder and Clark having a conversation. Of course, it's just, meta. It's a meta conversation. John is dead. He's not really there. And he also warns him that there is something coming. And then we see that it's Darkseid. So Darkseid is going to be the main main antagonist for season 10. And that's pretty much where season 9 ends. I will say that the final confrontation between Zod and Clark is a little underwhelming. For it to just be that everyone heard him whisper to Clark what he did, and then they turn against him. It was back-to-back season finales where I thought the final confrontation was going to be a little bit more of an intense fight, as opposed to it just being kind of lackluster, in my opinion. And there were some fun parts in this season, but I wasn't really the biggest fan of this season. And it seems like the quality. It seems like after season 7, this show progressively has would dip a little bit more and more. You can kind of tell that there's Smallville fatigue at this point in this show, in the series. But we do got one more season to go, and then we'll be done with Smallville and our rewatch. I want you to tell me down below, did you watch season 9? If so, what was some of your favorite highlights of the show, of that season? Were there things that you wish they could have did differently? Let me know all of that down below. And until next time, peace, Snookums.